Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Appelboom Bites podcast. Today it's episode number 20, and we have two amazing special guests on the show. The first one is our co-host. It is Dr. SBREBrown, also known as Stephen Brown.
Woo!
Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you for having me
How
again.
are you?
I really appreciate it. It's always lovely to be here, especially when there's such an exciting guest that I have not talked to since 2017, I believe. So I'm very excited to be here today.
Oh, wow. Then you might have to introduce yourself again to him. And I will introduce our guest because it is the one and the only, the one-man pen show, Sarj Minhas. Sarj, welcome to the show, Sarj.
Very, very happy to be here, Joe. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm sure I've spoken to you, Stephen, since
we have spoken. I just don't think it was in us more or less face to face.
I feel as if I see you every day.
That's because I'm a figment of the imagination for many.
Well, you did emigrate and then disappeared into the.
I know. This is
into the wilderness.
It's the consequence of choices.
I think DC Pen Show 2018.
Yeah, I think so. 17 or 18. I think it was 17.
When you were wandering around in a Harlequin.
That was 17.
Was that 2017?
Yeah. I think
that may be the last
because
time.
I don't think.
Great memories, man. Great memory. Yeah. Well, I queued up for a selfie with you.
I know. It was it's special.
Was it a long queue, Sarj, or was it?
Massive, man! It was trailing the line right round. It was major celeb time.
It was good.
Anyway, it's great to be here.
Yeah, and because you're the one-man pen show, actually this is kind of a pen show, right?
It is now.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly. Because you are here, and then,
every day is a pen show for me.
That's a good
tagline. It really is.
Yes, it is. But before we start with this whole podcast, we always do the pen check.
The pen check.
And Stephen, I would like to invite you to start.
Yes, I can. And I thought, since the great Lord Minhas is here, it would be weird to have something like, here's a Pilot Metropolitan. So here I have a classic Pence LB7 prototype.
Oh, wow.
Artist proof, I should say.
Nice.
Which is rather nice. I'll put my magic device on the camera, so hopefully we can look at it a bit closer. It has that very nice, that won't show up very well, but it has that nice dark blue material. It has a slightly different material. It was handmade by Paul Rossi, and it should have, let me see where it is. I'm just looking for it myself. It should have his PR signature on it there, which is probably mirrored. And on the other side, it says AP for amazing pen or artist proof, depending on and it does have the very nice classic pen nib, which I like a lot. So it's a very nice pen. It's a very pleasant writer. It's a bit it has some sort of Parker duofold vibe a bit, I feel, but very, very nice. I like it.
It's beautiful. But is it also inspired by duofolds, right?
I mean, I don't. For legal reasons, let's say no. There are certainly some. I mean, it feels a bit like it, but I mean, at some point, a pen is kind of a tube with a clip. So I mean, at some point, you get to a shape that's been seen before. I think, but.
I think you're okay with Parker's lawyers.
Oh yeah.
It's Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc would be sending.
There would already be guys rappelling down the roof now to.
Cease and desist.
Exactly. But this, so that's what I have.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, Stephen. Sarj, what about your pen check? What fountain pen do you carry with you today?
Well, I mean, it's one that I've been carrying for a while. It's also a pen. Stephen mentioned Paul Rossi. This is a Mont Blanc 149. I'm going to hold it, but you'll notice it's not your everyday 149. It's one that Paul Rossi customized with a blue marble acrylic, and also the nib is very special. The nib was customized by Richard Binder, and he is I mean, I don't know whether many of the viewers will know him, but he's very prolific in around 10 years ago, and he's added flex to it. It's a gorgeous writer. I think I showed this to you, Joe, last year at DC when where I bought it. It was my purchase of the show, and it's pretty much been in my rotation ever since.
Very nice.
So
it's a beautiful pen.
It is.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I love the 149 anyway, and Paul is, easily my favorite pen artist. God rest his soul. May he rest in peace. There you go. I can. I think I meant to do an Instagram post on this one. I haven't done it yet. There you go.
Beautiful, Sarj. Congratulations with this one.
Yeah. I mean, I thought long and hard, then I thought I'm just going to use this one because I actually have been using it. A lot of my pens don't get used.
This is the price of owning 400,000 pens.
Makes
like, I mean, at some point,
and the price of people, and some of them having to be inventory. Unfortunately, it's just the way it goes.
But
yes.
Okay, now we're heading to my pen check. But with all these beautiful pieces, I just have a Kaweco. Is that also okay to show, or?
No, nothing wrong with that, man.
All right. But it is a Kaweco that both of you don't have yet, I think. But it's the Kaweco Bronze Sport. So
nice.
It's the new one. It just came in our store last week, and I have it here just for a couple of days now, and it's really fun to see. I only have a Bronze Sport in ballpoint pen, but just to show the difference in material, it is slightly different. I will add some B footage to show it a little bit better. But the fun thing about this Bronze Sport is that our sales agent of Kaweco, he had this pen for over a year to test it all over and to do whatever you want to do with it. And it aged really, really well. So that's always fun with these kind of materials, that the pen that you buy is not the pen that you end up getting, because it changes because of the material. So that's really fun, and that's what I really like about this Bronze Sport. So hopefully in a year, if I show you this pen again, it doesn't look like this, because this is really neat.
Is it heavy, Joe?
Yes, it's similar. It's similar as the brass material, so it's quite a heavy pen. But yeah, bronze is a different material than brass, so
yeah,
it will be different. So yeah, that's my pen check for today. It's a little bit different than what you guys had, but still, I think I have.
It's a lovely pen,
right? Yes.
Listen, it doesn't matter which. I mean, it could have been a Pilot Metropolitan.
Exactly.
Even that would have been allowed. All right, Sarj, we have this tradition of our guest asking a question for our next guest. So our previous guest, which was Kate from Bennu, she had a question for you, but she didn't know that you were the next guest. So, but I will ask the question anyway, because her question was, how does your mood affect your pen choice?
Interesting question.
Yes.
I think definitely mood does affect my pen choice, for sure. Being in the lucky position of having many pens to choose from, I think probably if I'm the things that affect it more than anything else would be what I'm going to be doing that day, as opposed to how I'm feeling that day. So if I'm going to be, planning to do a lot of writing or note taking, things like that, then I would be looking to take one of my more reliable, practical things, like a Parker 51 or a Schaefer PFM or something like that, which is 100% reliable.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in a more romantic or reflective mood, then I'd probably maybe take something Japanese, a bit more serene, maybe some urushi or maki. And if I'm in a romantic mood, then maybe a custom, maybe one of my Rossies, or if I'm in a funky mood, it'll be a Joe Cali for sure, because his pens are really out
Hmm.
there. I mean, it's many different factors, but for sure, how you're feeling and what you're doing,
Hmm.
how I'm feeling, what I'm doing will affect it. And I think the other thing to think is that I have a three pen three pen case that I is the one I carry, and there's almost always one of my reliable pens, Parker
Hmm.
51 or a Sheffield Legacy or ones that, and then the other two slots could be anything. But with this kind of fashion for larger pens, some of these huge things just don't even go in there. These ASC Bolognas and massive things. So
How often do you rotate those two slots, Sash?
um, not as much as I used to because I'm now no longer have a full-time day job.
Hmm.
But when I was working up until 2019 for IBM, I had a busy job, probably daily almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it ran out of ink, I just got another one. I wouldn't refill. But now it's most of my writing's done at my desk, and it tends to be thank you notes or doodles, just a bit of testing. It's not really the intensive note taking that I used to have to do. So changed.
Yeah, that's sad. That you don't that you do not have the possibility to use it that often anymore.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I do. I could, but not. You know, certainly not. It's I write when I want to, as opposed to
Hmm.
having to do lots of notes. But I'm always inking at pens and stuff at my desk.
How about you, Stephen?
Well, yeah, I think Sarge is saying some interesting things. I mean, there is, which he always does. So there is certainly the interesting trend of I think the increasing size of pens. That's interesting. I have here Conway Stewart Great Exhibition. This is it's
Wow.
this is a Pilot Metropolitan. It's a larger pen, to the
Oh
point.
wow.
Exactly,
What are you
exactly. That's the
compensating
first
for?
question,
What are you
right?
compensating for?
And the strangest thing is, it's actually fairly comfortable. It really is a fairly comfortable writer, but it is ridiculous. And at some point, this ties into the other thing Sarge said of using it at work. I never took this to work, and then at some point it was kind of getting close to Christmas. We were rounding up things, and I thought, you know what, I'll just do it. And I went to a meeting, and I put it down. Everyone was like, "What's that? Is this a battery operate? No, it's not battery operate. It's a pen, and so yeah. I mean, obviously this is a ridiculous example, but even with the I think in general you see that
Hmm.
trend, like you said, the Armando Simoni club pens, and there's just a trend for pens to get bigger and bigger, which I'm not sure why that is. I've tried to think about it, and I don't know. I don't think we are evolving to have huge hands or something. But
I think I think things like
no,
I
please.
think sorry to cut you across. I think the pens like the when you've got
Hmm.
materials to show off, then a bigger canvas is good. And when you've got certainly urushi or maki, you have a larger sort of canvas to show
Yeah.
the artwork, etc. So, but I think from a practical point of view, they're not practical. Big pens are fun. I like big pens. I cannot lie, but they're not practical. I think the Parker 51, Mont Blanc 146, those sort of Pelican M800. That's for me. That's
I
the
think for
optimum
many
size.
people,
Pocket
I
friendly.
think there is a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
And they're the ones that sell the most. Probably Joe. Yeah, probably they're the ones that sell the most. I would
yeah,
say.
those are selling the most. But I think that you're correct because the pens that have like the beautiful things on it, maki A, urushi, or hand painted pens, most of the time they are big, and it's just because there's more surface to
Hmm.
show what the artist made. So I think that's one of the main reasons to make bigger pens and show what the artists have in house. So
And I think historically that was also the case. If you go back 100 years or 80 years and the golden age, all the main manufacturers also had a giant pen. I mean, the Waterman 20 or the 58, Parker Giant, all of the, Conklin, all of them had an oversized pen, and then an even ridiculously oversized pen, which was really to just show off,
what they can,
the pen
yeah,
itself and the engineering that went into it.
yeah,
So it's nothing new,
yeah.
but
It makes
not
sense.
practical.
It makes sense. Sarj, you're the one man pen show. First thing I want to know, who came up with that name?
That name came up by Mr. Eric Orozco.
Ah,
I don't think he was Orozco at the time. He was
Schneider.
what was his
Schneider at the
maiden
time.
name?
Yeah.
Eric Schneider. Yeah.
yes.
So Eric we must be going back sort of 12, 13 years or so, or maybe at least 10 years. And then what happened was Eric and Dan Smith, FBGeeks.com used to go around. Potentially, I think Stephen, you accompanied them occasionally, and they would go to each table and talk to the table holder, and then when they came to mine, because I had complete array of pens. I mean, I had a lot of pens. I always traveled with a lot of pens. Secondly, I had sort of high-end modern to everyday modern to everyday vintage to high-end vintage, and you could see 100 years of pen development on my table.
Mm-hmm.
Eric just said, "Well, we don't need to go around the rest of the show because it's a one-man pen show,"
Yeah.
and it kind of just stuck, and I liked it. I thought it was good because that's kind of what was my mission in a way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when I started out collecting, it was always a focus on vintage, but then I had so many different tastes. That I had, my accumulation became, wide ranging, and that was reflected in what I started having to sell because
and I think
I
it's
didn't want to
pretty
sell them.
true indeed. You are the one man pen show. You can just have a table at any pen show, and there won't be any other vendors, but you have everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good representative selection
Yeah.
of most things on my table.
How many pens do you
Obviously not
typically
everything.
take to a pen show?
1,000 pens. We worked it out for every
That's
pen show.
amazing. It's just lovely. I mean, it really is. It's true. Like,
Wow.
I think I've said this before, but whenever Sarj is at a pen show, there really are two pen shows. There is the pen show, and then there is Sarj, who has his own pen show. It's like a little sort of microcosmos of 1,000 pens. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I used to think it was about 400 or 500, but now that it's definitely 1,000. Because I've been counting because I'm actively trying to reduce it.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz, my wife, who is such a wonderful person, who
Mm-hmm.
since I've had my back problems, he does a lot of the heavy lifting. And I love her for
Okay,
it.
Sarj, honestly,
It's not fair on
she's
her,
doing
right?
everything, right? You're just
Yeah,
the face, but actually she's selling.
I've got to
She's doing
be. I've got to
everything.
be honest. These days, these days, it should not be the one-man pen show. It should be
The one woman
the
pen
jazz
show.
pen show
Yeah.
with the fella on the end of the table. But yeah, so we can't. I mean, we just come back from LA, and it was the two parts of the whole experience, which was a great trip, was the travel was really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Packing all that stuff, carrying it around, getting it on the plane, and obviously because they're expensive items, we like to have them with us.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pack them tightly. They're heavy. Get them on into the overheads and stuff. And then LAX, we had to do an extra pen show at LAX for the TSA guys,
Wow.
who decided to open every
Really?
case this time on our way home. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
I mean, to be fair, he was very nice, but I think he just wanted to have a look at the pens. Opened every single one.
Did you sold one to him or not?
No, but I certainly didn't get to the duty-free shop. I was there a good half an hour, I think.
Oh wow! Yeah, but of course, thousand pens he had to check. So It's a lot of work.
Pretty much. I mean, most of them are in rolls, so they're easy to check the roll out and you have a look and roll it back. But most people, they look at one or two cases or one or two rolls and say, okay, carry on. This guy, he wanted to look at all of them.
Yeah.
And he was admiring them and asking me questions like, oh, these are pretty. And, oh, is that gold? And
the extra one-man pen show. How was the LA pen show,
yeah, so
Sarj? Was it good?
The California show, we ought to be fair to Frank and Mario, we should call it the California show.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the California
We don't know whether the LA pen show is going to happen next year or not. They certainly didn't buy the show. It's a new show.
Okay.
And I thought it was terrific. I thought they did a really good job. Relatively short notice in a new hotel. From a dealer perspective, 100% better than what kind of the way dealers.
What makes a pen show a good pen show for you, Sarj? Besides the sales, of course.
From my perspective, yes. Obviously the most important thing is good attendance, and people come in footfall. But from a purely from a perspective of a dealer, as somebody who goes, then we like security, access to the room. If we have an issue like on the first day, the tables were far too narrow, and they'd got it wrong in the spec. So, they went the extra mile and went and got wider tables for us. I mean, just little things like that. I felt they did very well, and they deserved the success. I mean, obviously, different format, 3 public days, difficult to compare like for like because LA was always, it was 3 days of people who who bought the weekend pass, and then crazy mayhem on the Sunday. But this was much better spread out. In terms of people attending, a lot of people only attended the one day, and I think that worked quite well. So if people could only come on the Saturday, they came. In the past, they wouldn't have come. So I thought it was quite good.
Yeah.
So, use this opportunity to say, well done, guys. I mean, I thought it was a really good show. And I think that was reflected with the majority of people I spoke with in terms of people attending the show and people and dealers. So it was good.
No, that's great. Because you're not attending as many pen shows as you used to. Because which pen shows are you now attending nowadays?
Oh, we haven't dropped that many. Well, for a start, now the UK pen show scene is become a lot more active than it was. I mean, we have 2 London shows a year, which is really good. We have one tomorrow and one in the autumn, and also they've done well to the regional shows that they do in Birmingham and in in the Northern Pen Show near Manchester and all those. So those shows I think have got bigger. They're only 1-day shows, but they've got bigger than they used to be. So that's good. I think the ones I've really dropped. Unfortunately, the Tilburg show no longer because of Jeanne passing, but she hasn't had the show for a few years. And then the same with the Brussels one. So that used to be a good trip for us when we did Tilburg and Brussels the same weekend. And post Brexit, it's become a little bit more difficult to travel because we just don't want the risk of potentially people stopping and imposing trade tariffs and all the rest of it. So we've dropped the Cologne show this year as well. But we're still doing Utrecht.
Yeah, the Dutch pen show. It's the best pen show of the entire world, right?
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I think so. I think it's close to being. We have a terrific time there.
It's always great to have you here. Yeah. It's always a lot of fun.
We like that. I mean, Northern Europe is easy because we can drive.
Yeah.
And if you can drive, for me, it's a much better experience. As I explained, getting on a plane with pens. So even Madrid, post Brexit, it was a little bit more challenging. A lot more lines. Had to have a bit more paperwork, and invitations, etc. from the show. Well, I don't think we dropped that many, Joe. I think we do them all. We've always done 3 US trips. It's always been LA in February, Chicago in May, and DC in August. We've done the odd time. We've done San Francisco once. We've done Ohio once, but other than that, those are the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because they fitted in well with our work commitments. We used to have to do them in vacation time, and Jazz still has to. She still works.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you take different
take a
pens
chance.
to different shows, or is it always like the same?
Slightly different, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for Chicago, I take a little bit more vintage.
Mm-hmm.
And for LA, probably also a bit more vintage. For DC, tends to be there's deeper pockets in DC. Always, in terms of people like to buy the high end stuff.
Mm-hmm. What I always find intriguing when I walk next to your table, you know all the prices of those thousand pence, all from your head.
My dad taught me the value of a dollar or of a rupee. So if I've paid for something, I know what I paid for it, and I'm lucky in that I've got a memory that's probably failing a bit now. But if I know what
So now we have to buy.
to know.
Everybody, now we have to buy.
Yes,
His memory is failing. Now is the time.
It's more around. Yeah, I don't remember the price. I mean, I try and keep an eye on the market, but it's difficult on everything. But so I tend to price my pens based on what I paid for them. So so I know roughly the markup. Unless it's something very rare and it's become more desirable, then obviously I'll know about that.
Where do you source your pens from? Also from the pen shows, or do you have some?
Used to be places like eBay, but I haven't bought anything from eBay for a couple of years now. I almost 100%, no, almost all of it's from pen shows or from collections. I've bought collections, so I will buy. And then what I also find, and this is an interesting thing, people are selling me back the pens they bought from me 10 years ago because they're wanting to, they've had their fun with them, or particularly the collectible vintage ones. So they don't tend to get used.
But
they are more...
at the beginning of the show, you told me that you wanted to make your collection a little bit less bigger.
No. I just said we're going to take fewer pens to the show.
Okay, sorry.
I said nothing about reducing my collection.
Sorry. I misunderstood.
You got that completely wrong.
So is this when they come to you? Is this a matter where you say, "Oh yes, I remember that red LB6. You bought that for me from $50, so I offer you $45 now"? Is that kind of sort of how? Yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously, no. As I said, there are exceptions to that, but generally, it's an interesting thing because I don't write it down. I ought to do a spreadsheet or something, but pens are about the same prices, especially vintage, as they were 10 years ago. They really haven't changed much. So they are not an investment. So that whatever people say, oh, what do you suggest I should buy for as an investment? I say, well, they're not an investment. No. Buy what you like. Yeah. I mean, obviously, some pens will hold their value because they will, but they're not going to make. So don't make much money out of it. Don't use it as a nest egg. Buy stocks and shares.
That's a great advice, Sarj. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Stephen, how many pens did you bought with Sarj?
I'd have to think, but I mean, I certainly remember if I just whip this out here. There are some. There's a.
You'll have a spreadsheet.
Here are 2 classic pens. I bought these with Sarj. Still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are. Yeah, that's cheap, just the $20 pen. And I think the other one I still have is the Almost 360, the Magnum, which is that was in Madrid.
Nice.
That was very nice. Yeah, that was a good
show. I do remember that show. Yeah. You bought others, and I
I think
think
she
Aziza's
still
bought
has a couple.
stuff at
Yeah.
that time off
Yeah.
me for you as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But no. I think pricing on pens, good memory,
It's important.
and keep an eye on the market. I mean, I used to price them all. I mean, certainly in Europe, put price tags on everything. But with the way things have gone with customs and the risks we run, I mean, because when we travel with the pens, I travel with them as an exhibitor,
Mm-hmm. You
not as a
have to,
dealer,
because
because
otherwise it's impossible.
yeah, otherwise they'll just somebody will
But
just assess them, and
you
I'll just be
also
doing
are
massive
an
paperwork.
exhibitor. But you,
Well,
of
yes,
course, you sell
absolutely.
sometimes.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, most people they're not bothered. Most people wouldn't be bothered, but with the new treaties and Brexit and all this, it's really just become. I don't want to be sat there and somebody hangs onto my pens while I write up everything, because most of the stuff comes back with
Yeah.
me. You know.
No, it's true.
So,
It's true. I can imagine that.
yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about some new pens that just came in the store.
New products.
The first one that I want to talk about, it is the Lamy Joy Special Edition. It is not very often that the Joy is offered as a special edition, but this time it is. The special edition color that Lamy chose for this pen is the strawberry. I don't know if you can guys see it.
That's pretty.
Some of you might recognize it because this color was also on the Safari special edition of last year. Here I have it. It's a rollable, by the way, but here it is. But it is different because on the Joy, it is a shiny finish, and on the Safari, it was a matte finish. So it certainly is a different kind of strawberry.
One is a little riper than the other,
that,
is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Other than that, they look very much like each other. The main difference between the Joy and the Safari is the barrel. On the Joy, it is longer and it tapers down a little bit at the end. Here you see it. And another main difference is the nib, because on the Joy, there are the stub nibs, and on this particular special edition is the 1.5 millimeter stub nib. It comes in this amazing package, and it's a great deal. So get this special edition from Lamy. Another pen that we just recently launched on our website. We don't have it in stock yet. It is the Visconti Opera Gold Edition. The design of the Visconti Opera is in the industry for a long time now, and it is inspired by the Palace of Versailles. This gold edition of the opera collection draws inspiration from the history of lyric opera. It is a tribute to those masters such as Verdi, Puccini, Mozart, and Rossini, whose works of storytelling and musical genius still resonate today with audiences around the world. A Visconti Opera Gold fountain pen is an innovation to recall that greatness always has to begin with someone, somewhere. The Visconti Opera Gold collection stands out for its beautiful marbled resin with gold powder in it. It perfectly matches with the gold plated details. It is available in 3 colors: black, blue, and red. So, those are the 2 pens that I wanted to mention. But there's another one. And I'm just going to show a little bit about it.
Just building a bit
I
of
appreciate
atmosphere.
it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that, Joost? That looks like one of the
Oh.
most beautiful pens I've ever seen.
I'm dazzled.
That's all what I'm going to show. I'm not going to tell anything about it. It's no, this is one of the 2 pens that the one and only Dr. SBREBrown created together with Leonardo and Jonathan Brooks.
That's right. It's
for the market.
It was quite a wonderful collaboration, and it took a little bit of time to be finished, but all good things come to those who wait, as the kids say. So
that's true. That's true. So the material is made by Jonathan Brooks. The pen itself is made by Leonardo. What I have in my hand is the regular Momento Zero. There will also be a Momento Zero, or can I
no,
not
I
say
think you
that
can.
yet,
I think
Steven?
you should actually.
What do you think?
Yeah. Let's
Okay,
hype the
okay.
hype.
Okay. So there's a regular Momento Zero, and there will also be a Momento Zero Grande 2.0. So it's like the 2.0 version of the Momento Zero Grande with the ink window. What's really important of this pen is that the logo of Steven is on the back of the cap. The Fox logo, of course. And what else do I need to mention, Steven? The Momento Zero pen has a steel nib. The Momento Zero Grande 2.0 version has a gold nib. Both with the Fox logo, of course, on it. What else, Steven?
What size nib is the Grande? Is that?
It's a 6.
It's a 6 or an 8.
It's the 6. Yes.
So you need to. The next thing you need to do is complete the lineup.
That's right. So about 5 or 10 years from now, that one will be done. And offer the SBREBrown 3.0 pen. Yes. Yeah. No, it's very exciting. I think that covers it. And I will say, because I have the feeling it's not unthinkable that some people will want to purchase this pen. This is all done through the great kindness of Joost. So don't email me. I don't have any. I cannot help you. But email Joost and he will help you along. So Joost, tomorrow your inbox, 10,000 emails.
No
Good
problem.
luck.
Can you save one for me, please?
Sir, of course.
One of each, if possible.
So we will make 20 pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but this is the privilege. Like when you are a guest here, then you have first dibs on everything, Sarj.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the that's how
that's
it works.
true.
Yeah. Because they look. I mean, I can't tell from the resolution that well, but they're going to fly off the shelves. I can tell you that now.
The material. I mean, obviously, Salvatore's. I think Salvatore's work with the Leonardo pens is very, very good. But the material that Jonathan Brooks made, I'm biased. But I think it is beautiful. It has a nice brown with a little bit of gold in it, with a little bit of even a very dark purple in it. It's a little hard to describe, but it's. I do think it turned out really, really attractively. Again, I'm biased, but
the material is beautiful, and even that it's called after you, Steven. It's still beautiful.
That's the thing. Like even though it has that crappy logo on it and it's named after me, it's still a decent pen. So I mean that just it attests to the quality of the Leonardo's material. Like it still is okay. You know, that's.
It's unbelievable. I think Steven, you will make a video about it, right? And once that video is live, we will put the products live to buy on our website appelboom.com. Before that, it's not possible to buy it, so you just have to
except for Sarj.
Stay tuned to the YouTube channel. Yeah.
Well, I'm just reserving it, and I just want to say
thank you, Sarj. I appreciate it. It's
not.
It's a fun project.
It's well done.
And especially, Steven, because now you're a part of this really selected group of people that have their own, Leonardo special or limited editions. And I think, one of them is with us here.
I mean, mine was a couple of years ago, but I do.
I think you were the first one, Sarj, with the Leonardo special edition.
Yeah, I think one of the first. I think. I did it as a project with Tom Vestry, because Tom did one for the Tainan pen show, and at the same time, so we were working with Chiro, Salvatore's father, and we had fun designing it. My daughter did the logo.
It's a beautiful one.
I mean, this is a proper.
Can people still get one, Sarj, from you, or is it all sold out?
You can, yes, you can. I mean, I haven't been selling them remotely. I usually have a few with me at the pen shows, but if somebody wants to drop me an email, I'm not great at remote selling, guys. I'm not great at I'm not an online
No
seller.
problem. We will take care of the online selling, and
But
then you
if
do the
people
pen
want
show
one,
selling. Okay.
yeah, I mean, ultimately we can. I might just drop a few off with you, Joe.
Yeah, sure, no problem. That's no problem at all.
Yeah, might do it that way. Yeah, we did 120, 5 different colors. This particular color, which is the blue, that's sold out.
So it's really great that you show that one now. So
the
one that you're showing is not.
Yeah, but my others, because I've got the pen show tomorrow in London. I've already packed the others away, so I haven't got any immediately to hand. This is my personal
and
pen.
it's just a little hard. It was a little hard to see, but is this was that a number 8 nib or a number 6 nib? Because it looked quite large, but
no, it's a number.
Okay.
It's a
it
number
was a little
6
hard.
nib.
It's the perspective.
Number 6 nib with the yeah, it's just the way that Chiro set them. It's ebonite feed. They are true OMAS pistons, with a pin through there, so the whole barrel fills up with ink there. So the parts were harvested from OMAS in terms of the pistons. The cap bands were designed to follow the vacuumatic geometric line.
It's a beautiful one.
And then Chiro very kindly put my logo all over it.
You don't have that, Stephen, right?
No.
You just have this.
I feel I somehow got ripped off a bit there, but that's okay.
Yeah. No, or maybe I was not.
I would go with maybe I was not as important. There is the one-man pen show, and then there is the guy from YouTube.
That's true. There's only one-man pen show, so
and that's completely fair.
That's a difference. Definitely a difference. All right, Stephen, what's your last question for Sarj?
Yeah, so I had a question in mind, and I will tell you what that question was, but I will also explain why I will not ask that question of Sarj, because before we started recording the show, we were talking about Sarj's top 3 pens, and he expressed great personal stress in having to bring down the 400,000 pens that he owns to just the top 3. So I was going to ask, what in your mind?
I'm stressing now.
I can see the palpitation. So I mean, I won't ask about what do you think is the greatest pen that was ever made, but I will ask you this, and I'm going to make a prediction about the answer. So I'll keep my hands in view. I already wrote down on this little notepad what I think your answer is going to be, but we'll see how well I know you. If there was not an issue with availability, and you were only to pick one ink that you would have to use for the rest of your life, there would be a magical supply you'd never run out of, what ink would that be?
Oh, yeah.
Parker Pennen Sapphire. I wrote it down.
Wow.
There you go.
How many notes do you have there, Stephen?
Yeah, that's right. Like this whole thing is filled. Like Parker Pennen Sapphire was a very nice color. What did you like about it so much?
It is. I liked it because, well, one, it was a beautiful shade of blue. Secondly, even though people said, "Oh, it clogs up your pencil," you could dilute it, and it still operated beautifully. So I used it with a little bit of distilled water, and in my vintage pens and my modern pens, I loved it, and it always got comments. In fact, I always have a bottle handy, and this is the day I haven't. There you go. But yeah, I went and bought out all of the inventory of one of the stores that was closing here in UK. So I've got about 30 bottles. So I should be okay. That should be enough for the rest of my life. Yeah,
that should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, on the pen one, I mean, picking one would be really difficult. But if I had to, if I was forced to do, it would probably be a Schaefer PFM or Schaefer Legacy, purely because those two were. And I love the inlaid nib design. It was one of the things that attracted me to pens when I used to see the adverts in the 60s and 70s. And my dad had one. Dad had an Imperial, cheaper one, but so it was just that kind of sleek design that attracted me to it. And then there'll probably be something like that, but No, it's never going to happen, man. I mean, I would take everything with me. They're going in the grave.
Nice. Well,
Of course.
They're going
Of
in the
course.
museum.
All right, Sarj, we are almost ending the show. But so you had this question from Kate. You can come up with a question now for our next guest to start the show with. You do not know who's going to be the next guest, so that's really funny. So what would you like me to ask our next guest?
Do you like flexible nibs?
Do you like flexible nibs? That's a good start.
That's a good
I
question.
will ask it. Do you like?
You can put like, and if not, why not?
And if not,
We'll
what's
ask
wrong with you?
anything. Yeah.
If yes, why? Yeah. If yes, why? If not,
Okay.
why not?
Why?
That's a really nice
and
question.
why? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a great one to start with the next show. For now, this show is ending. I would like to thank Steven for taking the time again and having a chat with
Thanks for
us
having me.
about all kind of crazy things. And I will just see you next week, Steven. Sarj, thank you so much for taking the time with us in between shows and with the jet lag. And all that kind of things. It's always great to talk with you, and hopefully we see you again on the Dutch Pen Show on June 4th.
We will be there. In fact, I got the email yesterday, so I will be booking everything, and we'll see. Obviously, we'll see your team. I'll see Annabelle tomorrow.
Yes,
it'll be nice.
She will be there.
Catch up with her. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yes, it's been a pleasure, Joe. And I know I've kept you waiting for the other, but when the time comes,
No problem at all. No problem. The thing is, everybody's asking me about the top 3 pens of Sarj, so it's like everybody's pushing me to let you make a video about it.
I'm hurting. I'm already palpitating now because look, do I include the Paragon? Is the Parker Duofold in there?
Maybe we have to make an exception for you, like make it a top 30 pens or something.
And what about all my Rossies? I mean, I can't just.
I think what's going to happen is it's going to be, here's the top 250 pens. And it's going to be a 25-hour video.
I think I could probably do top 10. I could get to
people
top
will
10,
watch it
maybe, but then we could fit that into your top. We could fit that into a top 3 sort of thing, and people make their own.
We will make it one day. No worries. No worries. When it comes, it comes.
It will happen.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you're listening this show through Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you for watching. If you're watching this through YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we see you next week with another episode, with another amazing guest, and with the same Steven Brown. Bye-bye.
Bye.